So in this video, I've got a DM here from a guy that read my book, and he's looking for some clarity around spinning plates, which is essentially a concept of dating, which gets you a lot better results, less chance of having an unhealthy relationship with one woman, and of course, offer some contrast. So for those of you out there looking for a wife or mother stock or a girlfriend, there's some compare and contrast. Um, so he says, I hope all is well. I have a quick question about your book. Why do alpha men have to hide the fact that they're spinning plates with women? I grew up in a Baptist home and a Roman Catholic school environment, but I am not against premarital sex and contraception. That's interesting. You mentioned that this is information I shouldn't volunteer, but if I have to hide it, then I probably shouldn't be doing it. What are your thoughts, and can you elaborate on the context? So I can do that, and I'm going to offer you some of my own personal experience and how I have used spinning plates in the past and how I recommend guys use it to get the sort of results that get them a lot more out of life. Like, as my book states, it's essentially what gets you unplugged from society's comforting lies and basically ideas that don't serve you, which get you crap results. The big problem most guys have when it comes to dating is they go in too far, too quick, too fast with one woman. Most, like your average Joe that's sort of plugged into society's convention and all the lies will, go out with a girl or download a dating app. They'll get a match. She expresses some interest, and then they just go all in on that one girl. It's like within a week or two. And then their next step is maybe a few weeks after that, they start going on to these online forums and groups or Reddits or Facebook men's groups or whatever, the masculinity dude sort of thing. And they're all, oh, I met this girl and she's really hot and we had a good couple of dates and blah, blah, blah. And, but, insert problem. And it's something along the lines of, she's not responding to me. She doesn't, she doesn't want to see me again, or she's ghosted him, perhaps. Something like that. And then this plugged in guy is looking for the feedback, generally speaking, of an entire audience of a bunch of other plugged in guys to help him get clarity. Now, this guy has an advantage because he's read my book. If you haven't read my book, it's pinned below in the top comment. But the idea of spinning plates is essentially to get you to a place where you live in a mindset of abundance. And all that spinning plates means is you date multiple women simultaneously in a non-monogamous fashion. Interesting that this dude over here seems to have a problem with it, given his cultural connections or even his religious, convictions. He's got religious convictions on one side, but then it's like, his religion or his book of law says you can't do this, that, and the other thing. But he says, I'm this person, but I'm going to opt out from their rules, i.e., contraception or premarital sex. But that's how guys, love to complicate their lives and then sort of justify why they do it. So he thinks that you need to be deceptive, and he's asking about volunteering the information, and it's neither or. And I thought I made that clear enough in the book. I'm not sure if it was glossed over when he was going through it in that section, but I'll explain it to you a little bit more. Essentially, you date, you see the girl, and you see other girls at the same time. You don't owe her an explanation. She's not your wife. You haven't made a lifelong commitment to her or anything like that. She hasn't sat you down and said, hey, Rich, where do we stand? I dig your vibe. I'd like to see where this goes. Can we be exclusive? Blah, blah, blah. That conversation hasn't happened. You're just dating, okay? And it's totally fine when you're just dating to see several women simultaneously to see which ones are the better ones from the worst ones. That's essentially the entire point of it, is to allow you to compare and contrast. When I went out and bought this car, I didn't go out and drive just this one car and think to myself, all right, that's it. I'm going to settle on this, no more. Who does that? Guys will spend more time researching, test driving, comparing and contrasting fuel economy, performance numbers, going onto forums and reading, about cars than the amount of thought they'll put into considering a woman, dealing with her on a longer term basis, either as a girlfriend or, even worse, making her the mother of your kids. Guys ruin their lives by just going hook, line, and sinker all in on one. And you can't do that. That's the point of spinning plates, is it allows you the flexibility to compare and contrast what you're dealing with, one, and two, the other major benefit is it's nearly impossible to form an unhealthy connection to one woman where you pine for her constantly if you've got others in rotation that you're dating simultaneously. This is something that you definitely want to do early on. It doesn't matter if you're a 20-something guy, a 30-something guy, you just got divorced, whatever it happens to be, it's the ideal way to date. And believe it or not, this is one of the tools out of women's toolbox. Women are natural plate spinners. It's in their biology, because they're hypergamous, to want to mate select the best guy that they can possibly get. It would have spelled certain disaster for women 1,000 years ago when, they had to select a mate or somebody to have kids with. And if they picked a total loser, then that would have been a bad thing. It could have spelled, certain death for her and her children, right? If she picked the wrong guys. So there's a reason why women are hypergamous. It's a feature, it's not a bug of female nature. A lot of guys get pissed off. They're like, oh, she's never going to truly love you and blah, 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 blah. And they start whining and complaining. It's like, bitch, shut up, okay? Women will select and pair bond with the best guy that they can possibly get. Now, there's some exceptions to that rule, and I talk about that in a lot of depth in my book, i.e., for example, she's got like a very large notch count. She slept with 100 guys. It's next to impossible for her to form a healthy pair bond to a guy, right? So that's, one example where there are exceptions. These aren't hard and fast cookie cutter, like in the box rules. There are some other things that you need to consider, which I covered in my book. So when I was dating, for example, I was spinning plates, right? Like, my girlfriend today is not the one. I didn't just meet her like, that's it. This is going to be, Ms. Entrepreneurs and Cars. Like, I'm going to pick her and just date her, and that's it. And realistically, she probably wasn't just seeing me. See, the thing that guys like really struggle with, and I don't know why, it's silly to me, today, now that I've unplugged, but I understand it. I mean, I was there at one point too, is that women aren't just talking to one guy. They have this like preconceived notion that, they get her number, they start swapping texts, maybe they go out for a date or two, and then they think that they're the only ones that she's talking to. Like, are you new here? Like, were you born last night? Come on, give me a break. Women are never single. They've always got something going on in their lives, whether it's multiple guys they're talking to on dating apps, because when women are on dating apps, they get a ton of matches. They get way more matches than guys. They have far more opportunities. Let's just put it that way. If you don't believe me, ask one of your, friends, sisters, or a cousin, that's a woman, or a woman, that's a friend in your circle, for example, and take a look at their dating apps and ask them how many matches they get. Even basic look at like average, like fives, will, download an app, upload a couple of shitty pictures, taken in front of mirror selfies, and they'll get not even dozens, but hundreds, and in some cases, thousands of matches, okay? Get that stuff through your head. Women are not just talking to you. On a balance of probabilities, all women, and this is what you have to understand, are talking to other guys. I'm saying plural, guys, not guy. It could be guys that they're talking to, that they're dating multiple guys. Some are in, friends with benefits type of relationships. Some are in relationships. Some are even married. If you're on dating apps long enough, you will come across married women, okay? Women are not single. You're poaching them from another guy when you're talking to them, believe it or not, okay? So the notion of spinning plates is a healthy notion that allows you to put yourself first, mental point of origin, so that you can get the better results that you're looking for in life that will get you to where you want to be, for example. Now, how do you do that? You don't openly declare, I can't see you on Friday night because Nancy's coming over, right? It's, you're dating this girl. Let's say it's Monday morning. She's packing up her stuff and she's like, I want to see you Friday night. You're not like, oh, I can't see you because I got Nancy coming over. Like, it's not that level of transparency, okay? It's communicated to her by way of your availability in your schedule, what you got going on in your life. A lot of the times, women will, when they like a guy, they'll also creep them a lot, right? And all I mean by that is, they meet a guy that they dig, they're dating for a little bit, they're still Googling your name, they'll follow you on social media, they'll see who likes you on social media, and they'll click through their profiles, and, they'll see an attractive woman that's around the same age as them, and there might be like a little emoji that might trigger some thought in their head that, this guy is probably dating this girl perhaps as well, maybe, I don't know. That's called competition anxiety, and that's a good thing. You want to caffeinate the hamster in her head so that she believes, so that she thinks that you're a man that is in demand of other women. See, women don't want to be with a guy that nobody wants. They want to be with a giant. They want to be with a guy that other men want to be and other women want to fuck. That's what women want. So, you don't overtly state, can't see you on this date because I have another date, or by the way, I'm seeing other women, especially early on. You don't need to have any kind of conversation about exclusivity, what you're doing with your time, who you spend it with, what you do with who you spend it with. Again, she's not your wife. You haven't declared monogamy to her. You haven't, had the talk, like, where do we stand, Rich? I want to see you on a more permanent basis. Are you seeing anybody else? I don't want to share you. She hasn't brought up those conversations yet. You don't need to have that talk. So the point of spinning the plates, again, clearly is to offer guys an opportunity to get far better results with women and compare and contrast other options that are out there so that you can definitely pick a far better mate for your needs. And your needs will be different from my needs, from the next guy's needs, right? Your needs are what they are. You're looking for mother stock? Fine. You can vet for that. Still spin plates. You're looking for a girlfriend? Fine. Still spin plates. You're looking for friends with benefits? Fine. Still spin plates. Okay? It's not a difficult concept, and it solves many of the problems that guys experience when they're dating, which really just boil down to men love having a scarcity mindset, reducing their options, and then basically screwing their lives over. We generally do it to ourselves based on the way that we navigate dating apps, cold approaching women in real life, talking to women that they might come across through their day, whether it's in business or recreational, personal, whatever it is. But you have to understand, you want to have a good experience dealing with women, you're going to have to be a player. You're going to have to be a player. You want to get a wife, you want to vet for mother stock, you want to pick a good woman to have kids with, you're going to have to be a player. You're going to have to date a bunch of women. You're going to have to sleep with a bunch of women. You're going to have to figure that out. Don't screw up your life, though, right?
All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.